Hi, we're from Daily Wonder. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we're going to talk to you about intrinsic motivation for learning.
You know, there's that extrinsic motivation, might be something like getting a good grade or getting to use the iPad at the end of the morning lesson. The intrinsic is this inner motivation that comes with this desire to learn, this desire to know more. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
It's pretty obvious in our society that it's the will forces, the ability to persevere and like carry through on a task that's the most challenging for children today. And I think we can probably, like, even just on the surface, assume like we just have a fast-paced society, everything comes quickly, it's instant gratification. So the idea of having to like slow down and persevere isn't easily it's not a skill we easily gather in this day and age, but Daily Wonder's foundation has a huge focus on building will forces. So when you say, why doesn't my child like intrinsically just feel motivated to learn? You know, we kind of want to look at the will forces. And I think that ties in with this question of like external reward systems, which are very common again in our society. But our experience is that if you give them that dangling carrot of like, when you do this, this is going to happen, sometimes they just rush even quicker through this to get that. And so you're not getting them to sink into the depth of the experience they could have if they were really like working with clay and creating a sculpture or drawing this picture to the best of their ability. They're like, oh, if I get this picture done, I get my iPad or something. So I think I would deeply like sit with some of those questions of how am I using a reward system, and just being honest if it's working the way you want it to.
And a couple of things are at play, really. The start of working with intrinsic motivation is to deal with the burnout. You know, to really authentically connect with the theme of the curriculum is going to help build a self-interest in the subject matter. Another thing Jen and I were talking about in preparation was this idea of setting the bar really low. So thinking about a small aspect of the lesson that you want your child to complete. Jen used the example of building something out of clay. So 10 minutes of clay work, and that at the end of setting the expectation up beforehand, and then at the end of that, you know, sufficient praise and acknowledgement that this is a job that's really well done, so that your child has this experience of feeling good about something that was where the bar was really low. And so they want that sense of, you know, the chemicals that come with feeling good. They want to have that, you want to build up on that so that they start to have a feeling for those good feelings that come with accomplishment and drive and things associated with motivation.
And I think just to like further this idea of positive feedback and praise, we really stand by the nurtured heart approach. So, you know, our culture again is the good job culture, but it's a bit flat because children want to know why what they did was good. It's not just because good job just becomes a bit meaningless. So when you are offering your child feedback, it's like, I love how I saw you, you know, dedicate this time to this work. It shows me how much you're learning about perseverance, or I appreciate how you created this sculpture because I can see that you were really paying attention to the details in the story. That, you know, just giving reasons why it was a good job is what's meaningful.
Those specific things. Another idea is about taking breaks. Sometimes we get, as adults, really into the flow of a morning lesson and we consider it a certain amount of time and we just want to get it done and we want our children to be engaged and love it, that we forget that at certain times of the year, we need to give breaks, and we call them brain breaks, but it might look like up from the table, 10 jumping jacks, or it might look like a walk in the forest, depending on your child's needs. But those little breaks can give space to, you know, attach to the content when you are present. They can be pretty powerful.
And it kind of ties in with another idea we had around if you do have to set the bar low in order, let's say your child has to write a paragraph of writing and they're really resistant to it, but you want them to find like the inner joy of this sense of accomplishment, and you break it down into, okay, we're going to sit down and write one sentence. And then the reward isn't, you know, the reward is something healthy. Like, you know, what would you like to do for your break? You know, if your child has a lot of energy and they want to do 20 jumping jacks, or they want to play hide and seek in the house for 5 minutes, or they want to whatever. I'm sure you can think of many things. We thought, well, you could write out 10 great ideas that would give them this body break, excitement of getting up from the table and running around, and put them on pieces of paper in a little basket. And when they need that break, they get to pick one out of the hat and go and do that thing. Maybe they get to play with Lego for 10 minutes. It just kind of depends. Your child, like if they would get too absorbed in that and you couldn't pull them out, it's not the right activity, but something quick and easy. I think setting the bar low, also with intrinsic motivation, sometimes children don't want to, they're so resistant to doing it because it is so fatiguing for them and beyond what we could imagine. So writing as an example is a good way of just seeing how you've got to set the bar low also for what they might be able to achieve on any particular day.
I just had a thought I'm going to add, which is about motivation, where, this idea of extrinsic motivation is often based on our sense that we are the accomplishment, or if I get this done, then I am better, where intrinsic motivation is more like I am a learner. So everything is exciting. I'm curious about everything. Everything's about the journey and the process of learning. So it doesn't have this kind of completion. It's this ongoing process and engagement in learning. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. Yeah. Anything else to say on that topic?
No, I think it's I guess just that, as a parent, your child the best. And it kind of, this could tie back into our burnout and meditative life, but we often find, you can sit with a question like, I don't know why I don't know how to make sure that they find this deep love of learning. That can be a question that you actually live with for weeks or months. And you just carry it before you go to sleep at night. I want to be inspired to figure out how to inspire my child, or these are things that can live into your life, and signs and direction can come over weeks or months. So it's not always a quick fix by any means. You have to be kind of comfortable to be uncomfortable.
That's a good one. Yeah.